Today I'm going to talk about the security champion role and how to do it right. This is something I've done in a few organisations lately. It gets massive benefit between the development team and information security. So it fits into the whole development life cycle here, and this is one of Nexus's screens that I've put in here because predominantly it's going to touch on quite a bit of open source coding as part of this role as well. So, I mean, who am I? I'm not an expert by no stretch of the imagination. I've learned a few things along the way. And just word of warning here, other Trump images may appear in this presentation at some point. So, I mean, I've got a varied background in information security and IT in general. I've got over 20 years experience. Started at the Scottish Government on the year 2000 project, which should give you an idea of things. That was when Windows was still on 3.11. And DOS was still a major thing back then. Moved on to Police Scotland. I worked on some decent projects there, such as G8. Did solutions architecture at the NHS, and then moved into the private sector for Tesco Bank, where I helped build the bank from scratch. That was more an infrastructure role there. And then I moved back into security because I did quite a bit of security at the police. So moved back into security at JP Morgan to help set up their DevOps, the DevOps management team there. So that was getting 21 developers across the globe managing their entire estate, which is quite a big project. I then put in the secure software development lifecycle at Clydesdale Bank, moved to Virgin Money to do a bit of cloud migration. And at Aegon, where I am just now, I'm an information security manager, where I'm responsible for a multitude of projects. I have put in secure software development lifecycle there as well, because I'm an application security specialist, but also worked on projects for database security. Splunk's another one, and again, cloud security there as well. So that's a bit about me. So I'm going to discuss why we need a security champion. Firstly, we need to know what the problem is. There's multiple projects on the go, many development teams across different languages and technologies. Some of the staff might be outsourced, you might use a third-party supplier. Thousands of software components, especially in the open source landscape. And there's no security culture in the development community. And one thing I would note here that I've seen everywhere is delivery is king. So we need to solve that, and Security Champion's going to help with that one. So how do we create a security culture? Well, when you're doing the testing of the app, do you take security into consideration? That's one question mark that you should be asking yourself. Are the tools appropriate and configured to the business requirements? Do you know where your critical applications and functions lie as well? I mean, these are all questions that you need to ask yourself when you're actually looking at a security champion and your whole security culture as well. So what is a security culture anyway? Well, it's having an open mind. Having an open mind about security in your project. You really need to take consideration of security. Have a responsibility for your code as well. You want to be sharing knowledge across your teams. Don't keep everything to one area, and have an awareness for security. So, I mean, that can be things like attending seminars and meetups, that sort of thing. Having a personal engagement, you want to take an interest in InfoSec. And the biggest thing is getting management buy-in as well. But it's really taking a responsibility for your code quality, and being aware of security issues and trends is another one. So what are the blockers? I love this slide, Austin Powers there. What are the blockers for implementing security champions? Well, obviously everybody's too busy. Everybody's got demands to meet and project deadlines to adhere to. Risks are not relevant. That's one thing I've seen time and time again, where management will say, oh, you've got firewalls that are controlling your security estate. Why do we need to take your software security into consideration? also saying that if you're going to do this, do it only as a pilot project as well. Well, yeah, if you do it as a pilot project, then you'll see the results and you'll want to roll it out everywhere. The other thing is, especially in an agile environments where everybody's moving to now, is changes too fast to consider information security. I've seen teams that are releasing 3 times a day. If you find a vulnerability in any of your code, then that's your whole pipeline blown apart. And again, I'm going to mention this time and time again, delivery above security. Delivery is king in many, many organizations. So, but security seems to be an afterthought. People are scared to find issues, which will take time to resolve, and that'll impact your delivery schedule. So these are the reasons why it's difficult. But if you've got that attitude, you're guaranteed to hit some problems. You'll end up with a massive backlog of technical debt when you do decide to do it. So my advice would be, if you're thinking of doing secure software development and you're putting security champions in place, I'd do it sooner rather than later, because the later you leave it, the bigger the issue you're going to have at the other side. It's only a matter of time before a security incident occurs, especially in the open source landscape when vulnerabilities can be, change on a daily basis. That's one thing that we've seen a benefit from the Sonatype products. We can see a history of vulnerabilities in each of the library files and what versions to move to if you do have a vulnerability. So I'd say that's been a massive help for us. But if you don't look at it, then it's going to blow up in your face.